Okay, fellas, we're going to call the meeting to order. How are you in the back? Can you hear me okay? Good there? Everybody here down on the floor? Good? And stuff? Okay. Want to welcome everybody tonight for the first time ever in District 34. The crewmen of District 34 are gathering to have their time to say what they have to say about the industry and how they feel about it. Clearly, the turnout tonight isn't quite what we had hoped for. That's pretty clear. My hope was that we would have hit anywhere between 500 to 1,000 people. Often when things are in vote and things like that, when there's a majority or a minority, it speaks itself. And clearly tonight, just as the license holders are not quite sure what to do, it's pretty prevalent that a lot of crewmen are in the same boat. But you're here tonight because you do care. And it's not that some that didn't come tonight didn't. I think they're in a position where they're very fearful for their jobs. And so they're not as willing to want to come and to be seen in such a meeting. And that's too bad. A year ago, at about this time, we were aware that we were going to be going fishing for $3.50. That was a $1 drop-off from 2010. And I believe even from before that year, 2009, and somebody can correct me, did we go for $4.50 then, or was it $5? Was it $5 in 09, opening price? $4.50 for a few years this running? Okay. Needless to say that when a dollar drop occurs in our industry, it has a significant impact all the way around. Right from the license holder, to us the crewmen, and to the communities that surround us. When you're talking close to $55 million last year was lost to this local economy, that's a big hit. That is a very big hit. But the thing I think we have to come to understand, guys, is that we are in an industry that is ever changing. And whether you think it's changing for the better, which some do, or you think it's changing for the worse, it is still changing. And so it's come to this point that I think us as crewmen need to start looking about how the changes are occurring and what we need to be doing to follow along with that change. Because one thing about change, if you try to buck up against it, you're probably going to get run over. Things are changing in the license holder sector every year. Has been an ongoing change since the Donald Marshall report that came out and gave native rights to fishing in our waters and that. And with the federal government coming in and buying up licenses at prices never seen before. People point to different points in time where they think the industry began to take its turn. Me personally, I think that was the real telltale turn. Because when you're now looking at getting into a business operation that was around 400,000 in around that area, and all of a sudden it goes to $750,000, and $1 million in some cases people were bought out for, the rules of the game all changed. And it meant guys like ourselves were that less apt to be able to get involved. A lot of you young guys that are here tonight, one of the big points of doing this meeting was for you. I'm 45, and as I look through the crowd, and I've talked to a few people before the meeting, there's people 45 as well and older. Our time in the industry is on the back end. It is for you young guys that are coming up that I feel for the most. And it is one heck of a ride that you got coming at you down the road. It really is. We sit at a time where there's a lot of things that we don't have control that we once did. And as I said, when I promote the meeting, it's not about taking shots at people. We all know about what's going on out there and how opportunity is becoming less and less. But with that said, one thing about these boats, no matter how many licenses they stack or what they do, they are still going to need crewmen. The only thing that happens with the buying up of them is that the jobs become a little bit less, and those jobs most likely will go to the best men. But in the meantime, we still have a significant amount of licenses that are still around. And as we're hearing stories, a lot of these guys are having a hard time getting good men to go. Because we know that there's change happening. We often are told, you've heard this phrase for quite some time now, it's just business. Nothing personal, it's just business. So if that is the new motto, an old new motto, then gentlemen, we have to learn to play in the same game. We have to take the approach, it's just business. I'm sure there's many that can come up tonight and can share some stories about things and with some of the guys they've gone with. That's not really a point that needs to be made tonight, but it does say about where the condition of a lot of these guys are in. And that as more and more good men leave this area, they are going to find it increasingly harder to run their businesses. Now, the bottom line for us comes down to earnings. I have a little something I want to show you tonight. Can everybody see that? See that board? See it in the back? If you can't see it, I'd advise you come up and have a chair up here. The way this board reads is in the top corner you'll see a percentage, 12.5%. It's generally accepted that that is the going wage that gets paid aboard most boats, 12.5%. Maybe that doesn't apply to you. Maybe you're in a better situation, you get paid a bit better. But can we all agree that that's generally the accepted pay? 12.5. Now, down the left-hand side of that board is the pounds. Across the top is 5 varying wages, prices on pounds. Where you find yourself based on catch. If you're at 50,000, if you're with a guy that generally catches around 50, and he can average around 450 for the season, you're looking at 28,125. The red is to note that those boxes are incomes of 30,000 and below. Now somebody said to me, said, how can you try to find sympathy with people when you potentially make 30,000? If that's the worst you did was 30, how can you cry about that? And I said, it's not so much crying, it's the fact that 30,000 is made in 6 months. And times have changed. When I was fishing years ago, I was involved heavily in the ground fishery. And we used to do pretty good. We make anywhere from 15 to 25,000 in the summer. Almost as much as we were making lobster fishing. Unfortunately, the ground fishery, we all know what happened with the ground fishery. It's gone. And another couple of years of continued quota cut, and it's really going to be gone. to where very few, very minute few, own into the ground fishery. But we don't have that opportunity. You don't have that opportunity, and a lot of you young guys have never seen that kind of an opportunity. I'm very blessed in that I have lived through the glory of this industry. I've seen it. I have seen the mountain. Between lobstering and ground fishing, longlining in the summer, I've seen it. And some of you, there's a lot more of you out there who have seen it as well. Unfortunately, chances are those times aren't coming back. Not to that degree. So we need to stop and think about where we are as crewmen. Because make no mistake about it, gentlemen, you play a vital role in this industry. I don't care about the skipper who tells you, I own you for 6 months. No, you do not own him. Because the truth of the matter is that jobs are getting a little more plentiful. So competition for our services is going to increase. Believe me, it is. Because people are looking out west, and a lot of people, you know, who are going out there are beginning to like it. They're finding good jobs. And not having to put up with the hassle that goes on around here. Of course, that, in a lot of cases, it ain't their first choice. They would prefer to be here. Because when you're a fisherman, you are a fisherman, and you will always, I don't care if you do move out there, it is in your blood. Many of us come from families, long histories of fishing families. And it's something that we should be proud of. But little by little, our dignity and integrity is being stripped from us in this industry. As I said to open the meeting, my hope had been that if we could have got 500 to 1,000 guys here tonight. Somebody said you need 100% to be united. Yeah, that would be the best case scenario, but you don't need that. A lot of great things in the world got accomplished with lesser than 100%. So tonight, we look at tonight as perhaps a starting point. People will be probably reviewing this tomorrow or Friday on YouTube. And now they'll say, well, it wasn't a very big crowd. No. But it was a crowd that mattered. And people throughout the communities who will watch this video and see who's in the crowd, they'll know that those are a bunch of guys that care about this industry and they care about this way of life. And that it had been their hope that things could maybe, something could have came out of this meeting to be able to change things, especially towards this coming dumping day. Another season of 350. How did last season treat you guys? Guy in the back gives a thumbs down.
Garbage.
Garbage. It had a lot of far-reaching consequences, didn't it? Not only economically for you and for your community, but also in your relationships. Whether it be in your marriage, or if you just have a relationship with a woman, or if you have children. And yet here we stand again a year later, and the majority of this fleet, not only in 34, but also in these other districts. Prior to coming here, I didn't get into a big conversation, but a question, the promo video was showed on Canadian Atlantic Lobster. And one woman made the comment about how all the districts need to stick together, and how she felt it was kind of selfish that I was only conducting a meeting for LFA 34. Well, my response to that was, back when your season opened in October, you opened for $2 less than you did the prior season. What did you do about it? Did you make an attempt to rally your troops up there? Nope. Guess what they did? They went for 350. And it is unbelievable that people making that kind of decision still will complain. With the exception of a handful of people in this district, to a man, you cannot look me in the eye and tell me that 350, and we're hoping that we're going to get 350, probably will, because whether you know this or not, Grand Manan is down 40% from last year. District 35 was down 20% from last year. That is an average of the northern districts being down 30% from last year. And what were two things we were told? A glut and quality. Both of those do not exist so far. So why is the price still at what it is? Because they can.
Because they'll go.
Because you know the captain ain't going to do nothing but stick together to do anything.
Well, obviously, they know the crews aren't going to do it either.
Well, there you go.
See, one of the problems, and I posted this one time on my Facebook wall talking about the license holders. And the best that I can see is for now, there's really nothing that they are going to be able to do to get anything done. Because this year was their first real attempt in which they brought up the 300 pot thing and take a week off. Now it's neither here nor there for us to argue about whether that would have worked or not. The point of the matter is it got voted down in that sector. They had Sunday, let's not go Sunday. That couldn't be agreed upon. That sector will never get anything accomplished. And I cite 3 reasons why they cannot get it done.
Are we going fishing this Sunday?
Are we going fishing this Sunday?
This is just a question. Like right now, this year, are we going fishing or are we staying home on Sunday?
As far as I know, we're still fishing.
Fishing on Sunday?
Still fishing on Sundays. I don't think anything changed from last year that I'm aware of. If somebody knows differently, please step up and say so. So as far as we know, yes, we're still going. So they have three situations that I see. One is that they have an immense amount of debt with a lot of their newer entrants into the business. And that debt is being financed by people who are also in the industry. So they're being forced to have to go. Maybe you're with one of them. The second problem I see with it is with the owners who are just about done. They have their thing paid off. Because at $350, if you have no payments and you just have to pay running expense, you can make a go of it if you do the math. You catch 60, if you catch in around 50, 60, 70,000, that's still a pretty good stock. And with them cutting down on men in the spring, even more so. And then the third problem I see is with the women. Because money that was made in the good times generated a good lifestyle. And let's face it, if you've tasted a good lifestyle, you ain't ready to give it up right easy. And so it's go, go, go. And that third one applies even within the crew sector.
$3, no matter how much you go, you still ain't gonna make no money. That's the bottom line.
That is the bottom line. I agree with you. It is said, we gotta go. Well, my question to the gotta go gang is what happens when it comes Christmas time and you've spent up what you've made? Because let's face it, at $350, you're not, like you say, we're not making big bucks here. And because we've already gone through this $350, a lot of people are probably in worse debt position than they were coming into last year. Am I safe in saying that going again at 350, you're probably just getting caught up with your debt in the month of December? Is that a fair assessment?
Maybe.
So why would it not make more sense to push the envelope and find out if these dealers and buyers can pay more? I think we all agree they can pay some. We're not looking to get rich. They perhaps can pay a lot more. But, you know, we try to, when you eat an elephant, you take one bite at a time. So we're going to try to, the goal has to, you know, you got to be smart about how we try to get this back. And you go for the whole ball of wax, that usually ain't going to work with these guys. But they dropped the dollar, and to me, if you could even get that dollar back to 450 is a good start. The unfortunate part is that, and it's very frustrating to stand there tonight and be able to and just say to you that unless you got a certain amount of numbers, you just can't get nothing done. And I think somebody said, I can't remember who it was, somebody said they haven't suffered enough. People haven't suffered enough. It got to be. How can you look at somebody and tell them, I don't know why we're going. This is foolish. And yet you go like a madman trying to get your gear down on the wharf. Rush, rush, rush. Hurry, 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 go, go, go. So anyway, gentlemen, the numbers you see before you, that is reality. If you believe nothing else you hear here tonight, that cannot lie to you. I'm not going to ask anybody where they see themselves on that board. You don't have to speak up and say where you are. That's not important. But it would seem to me, if you're not averaging around 450 and hitting around 60,000, it's going to put some pressure in other areas of your life. But that's just my opinion. So anyway, I want to give opportunity for any of you guys. Mike is here. If you have something that you would like to say. Remember, we're recording the meeting. People will be watching this once it gets put up on YouTube, other people in the industry. And be a great opportunity for them to hear from you. And who knows what it might generate down the road. So who would like to be the first one?
Well, everybody, I've got the pleasure of fishing with this guy. He's my hired man. He's awesome aboard the boat. I actually have to tell him every once in a while to sit down and have a sandwich because he won't stop. But I'm like Troy. I remember one year I made $82,000 lobster fishing. And I ain't making it no more. Last winter I went out west just to make ends meet. I left here on the 26th of January, I flew out west. I've got the luxury of having a big license in my pocket, and I drive oil rig trucks on the ice. And my captain was nice enough to let me go. I came back home, April Fools, and I fished the spring. And that's how I made my living. A little bit lobster and a little bit out west. And a little bit in the old Daisy Duke truck. I got something to say that maybe you guys never thought of. This lobster fishery is getting harder and harder. You're gonna remember this when I say it. I remember back in the day, you'd go lobster and you'd sell your lobsters and you would get a settlement, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, depending how much you sold. You know, and it'd be for 1 week. And that 1 week made one stamp. And you didn't think about it. Next week you sold more, you made another stamp. The next week you sold more, you made another stamp. At the end of May you hauled up, Christ, you had 30 stamps. You didn't worry about your unemployment. What did I tell you last winter? Dumping day. We weren't even in the season yet. And I fish aboard a good boat. There's guys that catch more than us. There's guys that catch less than us. But I said, look, we're not going to have stamps. If we sell 10,000 pounds at $3 a pound. Yeah, it makes for a good week, but it only makes one stamp. I looked at the skipper, I said, listen, I talked to him first. I said, we want $2,000 a week until it's all gone. And you know what? If we wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have had our stamps. Am I right? And we caught lobsters. We caught 60, 70,000 pounds. And if he wouldn't have given us $2,000 a week, and $2,000 a week's not much. Don't forget, you got to take the income tax out of $2,000 a week. $2,000 gross minus the income tax, the CPP, the EI. It's $1,000, give or take, clear, take home. For going lobstering in a big ass fucking gale of wind, working your ass off, no sleep, horny as hell, missing my wife. Come on guys, it's funny, but it's true, right? And if he wouldn't give me he gave me $2,000 a week. And when I had 15 stamps, it took all fucking year to get that. Think about it. It's a long 6 months with no unemployment. And they plan on fucking up this unemployment system, by the way. It ain't gonna be so easy this June.
That mic right there works if you
I
want.
don't want to talk to Kurt, I want to talk to you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, my name's Chris McConaughey, I fish from Town Point. I don't know why we're all here today, but I can tell you why I'm here. I'm here to see a change. Where we're going is not right, you know? Not a very good turnout. I always said on the wharf, you leave it up to the hard men, we'll be there. We're not here. Shame on everybody that's not here. You know? It's not saying much for your industry. I had all kinds to say. It's coming. It's coming. Captain, we're fighting with no captain. Captain makes my living. I'm coming around. That's good. Problem is, they got themselves in a hell of a mess. They don't know how to get out of it. We got to follow them. They're living too. I can guarantee you, every captain that's in the trouble they're in is waiting for something to happen. And this something is going to happen, but it's going to happen with us, because we're the backbone. We're the ones that stop the boats. We're the ones that's the only way to do it. I compared something too. It's in my coat. It's an empty wallet. There's my numbers. Wasn't like that forever. It's going that way, this way now. Because they can't do nothing. They're financially strapped. They're doing business, like you say. And guys getting them money, burying them in debt. They got the fish. Don't blame them. They need to be bailed out, and we're going to do it, but we're not going to do it like this. We got to stop it. And we need a hell of a lot more of a turnout than this. Shame, shame, shame. You know, so much has changed. I fished all my life. Don't let me take your place because you'll have no job. I've been there day, night, day, night, day, night. This year I'm only 6 weeks. 6 weeks. It's crazy. 6 months fishery with 2 weeks wage. That's crazy too. But you're gonna do it.
Gotta do it.
You're gonna do it. That's what I come. I wasted my time. You guys are wasting your time. You're gonna pay your bills that you got, and you're gonna borrow money from next year's wages to get to work. the rest of the 5 months. Makes no sense to me. But I'll fight with you. I'll fight day and night with you. Let's get it on.
Anybody else want to have something to say? This is your opportunity.
Give us our $5 so we can be happy.
Wish I could do that. I really do.
I don't really know where this is going to go, but there's one thing that no one's mentioning yet. It's the pride of what we're doing. We're going out there, we're beating ourselves up, we're putting our lives in danger, and we're going for $350. We ain't making nothing. We're not doing what's fair to us. We're having our captains look at us not doing anything, telling us to go, and they're driving us, and they're not putting their time in like we are. Some of them are working captains, don't get me wrong, but they're not doing anything for us. They're the ones telling us to go. I have a family to feed. I have all kinds of stuff. I want to go and be paid fair and feel good about my job. I don't want to go pissed off every day anymore. I am fed up with this. I can't believe we only have this amount of people turn out. Like, to anyone that's going to watch this on YouTube, this all matters for everyone. It's our community, it's our family. It's a job that I love doing, but I don't love it anymore. $350, for anyone that can't see this, we'll say $350. 70,000 pounds before any of us make $30,000 at 12.5, which is the average. I agree with it, because that's what I see. This is the average, it's fair. This is off the top too. What about the guys that are paid after bait and fuel and administration fees and all that bullshit? Captains, nobody's thinking about their payments. Their costs are going up just the same, and they have to pay it, and they still will not do anything about it. We need more hired men, because it's going to be up to us to do it. But having this turn out, I'm willing to say I'm not going to load the pots. But how are we going to do that with 150 people? Like Buddy said, shame on everyone.
One of the things that we hear being said is that the price, there's nothing can be done about the price. It's a supply and demand business, and if the demand isn't there to meet the supply, then this is what you're going to get. We've all been through that swan and dance. We know, we've heard the stories, we've heard all the various excuses and things they've used on us. So if that is the way the game is going to be, you can't get enough people in the licensed sector to be able to unite, to hold out. And it's not only just in 34. As that woman said, she did make a good point. All districts need to get together. If that's the case, and if we can't affect the price, the bottom line is this, is that we as crewmen cannot continue to keep taking cut and pay. And when that goes down in price, that's essentially what's happening. I had a few people explain to me some of the pay scales around here. And I have to say that I've been very blessed in my life with men that I've gone with. To my knowledge, I've never been shortchanged at all. So some of the horror stories that I've heard, just really, I've been really taken aback by. How some people have 10% is taken out of the stock right off the top, and then they get paid a percentage after that. Well, it doesn't actually end up being the percentage because that 10% was taken. What's going to happen here is this. If nobody wants to stick together to get the price up, then us as crewmen are going to have no choice, but we're going to have to go to our captains and we're going to say, you know what? My services is worth more than 12.5%. Because I have a business that I run, and that business is called my home. It is every bit of business. Don't kid yourself. It is every bit of business as that gentleman that has to run the rig, as them dealers who have to run their tank shops and their holding facilities and all that. No, it doesn't sound as glamorous and as sexy, but it's still a fact. As we said before, good men are leaving all the time. Perhaps everybody in here knows of one. Are you going to be next? There's a good chance that at least 15 people out of this room tonight won't be here next season, if not more.
We get 3 1/4, I won't be here the 3rd week.
And I've heard many of those stories too, sir. You're not alone. And I'm not joking. Some guys are hoping to get the first 3 or 4, if they can get to Christmas, that's it.
So it's gonna go fishing for $60 a week, or, you know, we're only gonna get it once a week, February, who's gonna go fishing for that?
That's right, that's right.
That's like you said, we're just being business fall when it comes down to it. You go fishing for the fall, and you make your money, and then they ain't got nothing to pay you. Well, see you later. That's just business.
That's right.
And then what are they gonna do?
Yeah, yeah,
They don't wanna stick up for us, but they expect us to wait on them hand and foot and work on the boat while, and that's even like, working on the boats, the traps, everything. We can hire those little traps for free, but yet we're all over there all summer, working on the traps for free. We work on the boats, you wouldn't bring the boat to the boat shop and get free work, but yet as a hired man, you're down there doing everything possible.
right.
We're expecting too much of us, and we get nothing out of it. And people's tired of it, and the bottom line is now, like, if you ain't got money to pay us, who cares? What you got to lose if you ain't got nothing to gain,
That's right.
right? Like,
That's right.
So someone needs to start thinking of something, because they got more to lose than us.
Mm, mm.
We can go get out of the jobs, like, I know there ain't much around, but what jobs are they gonna go get to pay a boat fee?
Yeah, yeah.
None.
No, that's true. That's very true. And the easy thing, you know, at some point, as Chris said, and I agree with him, if there's going to be change happening, it's going to be us as crew members that's got to get it done. It has to be us that gets it done. Now, it's true, we're disappointed in how the turnout went tonight.
I only found out today.
I bet you'll have a lot. A lot more.
You started this a month ago, you'd have had a lot more.
Probably if people guys have on the work. This should have started.
Buyers say that there's no price, but guess what? I bought them, any of them, will pay your mortgage this month. I know they, you know what, just driving around in $50,000, $60,000 trucks, cans, everything you could ever want in a lifetime, these guys got. And if you could see the hurt, you would understand, but guess what? No one's hurting but us, because it all track runs downhill and we're at the bottom of it. And that's the bottom line, and everyone said it, that's why we're here, and that's why everyone else should be here.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anybody else who'd like to come up and have something to say? Going once?
So where are we going with this meeting right now?
We need to get everyone together on the vote, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, normally those who know me don't know that I don't need a mic. I agree with what you're saying. And one thing my captain told me today, he said, you'd be stupid to miss this meeting tonight. He said, if you don't go, he said, you're crazy. He said, you guys need a voice. And I'll tell you what, you're right, we need a voice. I'm like Troy, I'm very disappointed. I expected to have everything full here tonight, standing room only. I might have it a little bit better than others because, you know, like I said, my captain has been willing to give me time off to work this fall. That's great. But if we don't stick together and come out with something, not saying we need like a union or anything like that, but we got to get together and you know, kind of decide what we're going to do with the future here. Because right now this is going nowhere. We got to have a better price. There's families that are suffering. I don't know about the rest of you, but I got bills piling up. I've been stuck like you guys, working in the shed, getting pots ready, traveling, doing this, doing that. You know, the boat's got to be fixed, painting to do on the boat. And so I'm missing a lot of work here. And every day I could go and work and make money. But we have to get ready for lobster. And that's the point. I've been lucky enough that I've had time off to go do extra work. But these captains, some of them just really, they don't care. Let's get the job done, let's go lobstering. You guys can suffer later. We'll make the money in the fall. Well, there's no money to be made anymore. I'm like Troy. I can remember going out hand lining, lawn lining when I was younger. We made a very good living. Them days are gone. So unless we don't get together and get some bigger numbers in meetings like this, we're not going to go nowhere. So I'll tell you what, it's like everybody said, shame, shame on those that didn't show up tonight. So if we can spread the word, I know it's kind of late. I hear rumblings in the audience. Maybe we should have meetings like this May, June, July, August, September, October, whatever. Okay? Well, the time is gone. Let's kind of work on this maybe this winter, whatever. It's kind of late now, but we're going to have to go. Right on. And you know what? I call it peer pressure. Because I know a lot of captains that would have voted different, but they were pressured into voting a certain way. And that's sad. They wanted to vote their minds, but they didn't dare. Because they were scared what their neighbor or the next captain was going to say. And that's really sad. So maybe we can sway the vote, maybe a little bit either way, and maybe we can come out on the better end of this.
To answer your question, Ray John, you're saying about where's the meeting going for tonight? Clearly with the lack of numbers, I think somebody said we might have 150 here. I put in my mind, and I will stick by it, my thinking was that if you had 500 crewmen who would commit to not loading this weekend, 500, you would have made a difference. Pardon me? Right on. Well, for me, for myself, in organizing this, in my mind, I said if we hit 500 committed.
How many licenses out there? Down here.
950?
So you've got average 3 guys.
Two. Well, usually you go about 2. The average is 2.
So what's 500?
Pardon me?
What's 500 for a number? 500 is enough for all the guys that's out there. We should have a lot more than 500.
We should.
That's a joke.
We should, sir, and I agree. But my point was this, is that if you had 500 men, that affects 250 licenses. That's a little over a quarter of the licenses. Imagine if you would, if that 500 decided not to go, would not load. The chaos that causes at the wharfs of these boats. Now, how spread out the 500 would have been, I can't tell you.
I say you get a lot more than 500 people, once word gets out there. I think in the neighborhood, you'll have more than 8,500 people you'll want. I'll bet you one. I'll bet you one. Change, but all about the woodwork.
Like you say, though, even if we only get 500, the chaos that it can cause at the war, with those straps being left on board, plus the guys not being able to come up and pick up the lobsters, yes, the trucks not being able to get on, stuff like that. If you can only get 500, it's God's fair sum. And if it's only 500, that's still a big number.
Right.
That's 250 votes.
You go after the lawyers, they're the one who dictates the price. You petition it, you go to their offices, you put up signs, what do you do? Where do you
Well, I guess and what we're talking about, hold on. When we're talking about this possible action, is what you're hoping, look, we're at a point, and it should never have had to come to this. This meeting shouldn't even be going on tonight. We shouldn't be at this point, but we are. And what has happened is that we have come to a point of desperation. And when people get desperate, they'll do desperate things. Now, what we're talking about could have been done here, would have been done peaceful. Not like back in the spring where that strike went awry and you had some guys doing stuff they should never have been doing. It put a black eye on everything. Regardless of whether you think the strike worked or not, that's irrelevant. That activity hurt that particular strike action. And so it's hurting towards here now. But what I was proposing is that if you had the 500, And it had to be, to me, my opinion is it has to be a significant enough number. You may not think 500 is a lot, sir, but it's not, it is pretty good, because the 500 you're talking about are probably from Yarmouth down to Cape Island. Who here is from Clare tonight? Who's here from Digby Neck? Nobody. Nobody. Briar Island? Okay. So the thing here was the thinking. I guess this is, I'm going to sound foolish because I'm telling the plan, but I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe if people hear about it, they might catch on. Is that with 500, the 500 probably would have ran down from Yarmouth down to Cape Island, okay? And it would have interfered in those wars. Imagine tomorrow morning, 250 license holders realize they don't have men to go. Somebody said, well, they'll find others to go. I challenge you to find 500 guys in 3 days.
Find 10.
That's and good men. But here's
saying that, I was told earlier today that a captain did say to his crew, I don't want to be a prick about this, but I have to go. You can pack your bags and leave anytime you want. I have to go.
yeah, chances are. But you know what? I think he talked out of fear.
That's all I'm saying, all right.
Yep.
I'm going to stand with the rest of the 500 and stay home.
That's right.
See ya. Is he going to do that?
Is he what? Going to fire it?
Divide this here little group into 4s or 6s or whatever you want to do, right? And have all the 4s. And then you pick the guys that's going to say, I'm going to say, you don't add up. 500 is not enough. It's not enough.
No, it's not the ideal number, sir. I agree with you. But you think about what 500 would do. That's 250 licenses. There's licenses above Yarmouth, so I don't know what that gives us from Yarmouth down. But that's a bigger chunk, right? If you interfere, and imagine what that creates at the wharves.
If you had a third on each ward, go in there and say, all right, we're staying home. That's a different story, right? A third, because where else are they going to find men?
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of boats down in Pumpico and wherever. You know, you taking that third and they're saying, we're staying home. Okay, that's different.
Yeah. In a perfect world, that would be good. It would. But as I've said, we've hit the point where we're kind of up against the wall for a lot of people in that. Thing I want to say, and I know we're taping this, and I want the license holders to understand something. If you're watching this tonight, you need to take a very hard look. Though the crowd is not as big as we would have liked, but it is a start. These men are going to leave here tonight, and they're going to talk about the meeting with their crewmen. And I'm safe in saying that if the catches are going to go down like they have in other spots, and I have no reason to believe that they're not, you have to think that we're going to have some kind of droppage if them other places are dropping. And if that drop occurs, and you're still looking at that prices, there's going to be some angry people in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, January 1st. Merry Christmas. So I would say to you that you guys really, really need to take this meeting that has occurred here tonight seriously and get yourselves together. It doesn't mean that it means every single license holder. There's a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. We will. So anyway, I would take note of what's going on tonight and get together and start to figure something out, because people are getting upset. I can't hear you, Mark. Everybody?
You're thinking about
What's that?
Just to see if we can actually get from this meeting, actually get a little bit more. It's a good start.
It is a good start. It's a very short window that you're talking about in trying to call another meeting. One thing, pardon me? Well, CJLS guy sitting right here.
There you go, Mike.
What's that?
We're going here, I think everybody is united here tonight because we all came. But the sad fact of the matter is, it ain't gonna happen without numbers.
That's right.
We gotta have the numbers. I think we're all here for the same purpose. The sad fact is, we don't have the numbers. And
Troy.
if we don't have the numbers, we're gonna go fishing Monday, and Mary. Let's all look for importance and spread the word.
Troy, the sad thing about it is that most of the captains are looking at their crewmen and saying, go to that meeting because we can't get together enough to do anything. And it's sad that it's up to us to do something about it because
That's right.
they know.
Meeting was, we started last Wednesday, putting out flyers, contacted the media. Story came out on Monday. Well, the effort, the thing you gotta understand is that pretty much, I've pretty well done this all by myself. Pretty much by myself. I appreciate that, but that's not why I said it, to get an applause. We have there's a page on Facebook that we created a few months ago called the LFA 34 Crewman's page. Who's on that page? All right, there's people who came on the page. The point of the page is that it was for LFA 34 only. I've policed it myself. Anytime anybody has asked to come onto it, I do my best to police them, ask them who are they with, what port do they fish out of, because I wanted to keep it exclusively for 34. And so over the course of time, not everybody likes to talk, not everybody likes to post. I'm kind of the opposite. I speak my mind, I try to speak intelligently, I try to present good stuff that the people will, and see what they say. There wasn't a lot of response. There were people who did talk. There was people would come in occasional comment. But because the site didn't generate the interest or the perceived interest that I needed to be able to do something, that's why nothing got done sooner. I'm like Chris. I'll stick with you and I'll stick my neck in it, but to a point. And I gotta know, from this point on, as we go further, I gotta know I got the support. Because there's a fine line between stupidity and insanity, okay? I have a wife that loves me very much. I happen to love her too. And I like to be around to continue that. So I'm doing the best I can. There are people little by little coming as this thing I think can grow. We'll help out more and more and stuff. But it is a start. I mean, would we have liked a packed house tonight? Yes, that would have been perfect. But deep down in my heart, I kind of knew, based on the way I was reading the tea leaves, so to speak, it wasn't going to happen. But tonight does send a clear message to everybody else in the industry. And by the way, I do want to thank those captains who encouraged their crew to come and got behind them and made them come to this meeting, even in some cases. We really appreciate that. Those guys do deserve a round of applause.
Why do they deserve a round of applause? That tells me that they haven't done no backbone stand up for themselves and he doesn't do it.
No.
Their hands are tied.
These are guys who are in their sector and they understand that there's nothing more they can do. And they're not telling their crew members, you stay the hell away from that meeting. They was encouraging them to come.
I got the
Told you to come? Oh, to stay away? Well, bravo for you, buddy.
I was talking to a captain, and I'm talking to a captain, you know what he told me? He said, if I see my crewman's face there, you're fired. I can come in, it's going on Monday. He said, not my captain, but he said, if I see my crewman there, he said, you're fired.
Well, you know,
Ronnie, you can get a job ready for my job. I ain't gonna make no money.
Not talking about me. I was talking to a captain, not my captain.
My captain called me tonight. He's an established guy that brings pain. He said, I hope you guys can get something done, because I got to fuck off.
That's what my captain
That's
said,
it.
that's it.
Where's the crew, where's power?
pardon me?
Where's the crew, where's power? Make that happen, what are you gonna do? I'll give myself? They can't. They can't.
No. No.
So, either we start getting the friends together, we get this shit fixed together, or we make it bend over the
Right. So coming away from tonight, as far as getting a meeting for Friday, geez, I'll tell you, it's pushing it. But I think what you need, pardon me?
Enough of us here to advertise around our own wars.
We try to do something, but because people want to start loading, some guys want to load tomorrow Friday, some guys want to start Saturday. If we don't do it now, we're going to speed and go fishing. That's the problem. Don't have enough going.
Time is a factor.
Don't have enough people. It's nothing to do with time. We don't have enough people.
Yeah.
We had 192 members on our Facebook page, including yours. I think it's 192 members. And how many people here, the show of hands was on our Facebook page? I've never seen. We didn't even get the support from them that joined the page. I thought that these were going to be the people on our page, and when I saw that nobody, hardly, most of the people don't even know nobody. Why didn't we get the support from the people on our Facebook page? I'm surprised.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I said, as we advertised, and you know the things that I've been putting on there this week, there wasn't a whole lot of response. And,
I'm one of the ones you say, I don't go out posting, but I'm a reader. I'm
Yeah.
there every day.
yeah,
I read and follow what's going on and all the time.
Yeah.
I post it every time, I read all the time.
I don't post much.
We don't get the support from that. I'm surprised.
well, the only thing I can suggest, and it really is going to be a long shot, is that you guys are going to have to all go back to your ports.
Why don't we do it tomorrow afternoon?
Well, I don't have the time to just get up and go do this tomorrow afternoon, sir. I've just used up a week of my own time towards tonight. I have a son.
I come here to do something, and we'll go quick. No fucking way, I quit. We gotta come back to do it again. I got shit to do tomorrow too, but God damn it, I'm gonna be here. I guarantee you that.
Okay, what about if we said it Friday night, and instead of looking for a venue like this, why don't we meet at one of the wharves in town? Because we don't need to book anything, whatever, say Friday evening, 7 o'clock or whatever, everyone go back, tell everyone, not saying that this is what we have to do. But it would be an easy thing, we don't have to go and look and book a place or whatever, see how many people actually show up. That's our hope, and that's our chance, and after that, we're done. But that's a central place, it's, whether it's our friend or what, I don't know.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Who's in favor of doing that? So the war.
Here's their new part. Bring a friend. Everybody bring a friend or two.
Three guys, you'll get about 500 guys.
That's true.
Friday night, 7 o'clock, everybody's
Ice Plant Wharf in Yarmouth?
Just because people didn't read it on Facebook.
Listen.
Just because people didn't read it on Facebook, like Marty said, there's like 150 people here. I've got a lot of friends, but I got a few. If I tell all my friends, and everybody tells their friends, and everybody's got 10 friends, and you get all on the horn and you say there's a meeting Friday night on the Yarmouth Wharf.
You can't make it at a war.
If everybody brings 10 friends, we got 1,000 people. I don't want to hear negativity. We're not going to do it at McDonald's. We're not McDonald's at the world.
Don't make it at war because we got pots and all this. Somebody's gonna
Stand on top of the pot.
Somebody, look at these chairs. Chained up like fucking
It
criminals.
don't matter. Let's do the parking lot then. If everybody counts 10 people, we got 1,000
You
people.
go to the Mariner Center, you go to the malls, don't go to the war. Somebody's gonna start cutting necks and heads, whatever.
Right,
No,
that's a
you're
good
not
point.
doing it at a war.
That's a good point. What about, what's going on at the Mariner Center tomorrow night? What? Okay, calm down, guys. Quiet.
How about the front of Staples? There's a very big parking lot there that's wide open.
Yeah. Front of stick. Hold it. Okay. We have quiet for just a little bit more. I'm going to try to settle on something. That's what we'll come away with for the evening. Gentleman over here suggested the Staples parking lot.
That's probably private.
Hold on, one at a time, please. Pardon me, Phil?
Parking lot below the theaters towards Home Hardware, it's a big spot.
Friday night for a show?
Parking lot at Staples will be empty.
Staples parking lot? You just can't park, just don't go there and park in the parking lot. Okay. So what does, all right, hold on, guys. What, legally, where does that put us? Are we allowed to do that? Which, stand up, sir, for a sec.
Lobster Rock Wharf. There's a parking lot there, there's no box, the box are up against. That's right. So we can meet there, and we're not gonna hurt anybody.
The Lobster Rock, the one where the dragger, or the second one. Okay, yeah, okay, I know where you are. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, we're gonna say the Lobster Rock Wharf, 7 o'clock, Friday night. Is everybody in agreement of that?
7 o'clock is dark.
Do we go earlier? How early, 5? 3? 3? How many for 3 o'clock? Media's going to be there. We got to do it at 3 o'clock. So, all right, listen, so that we all hear this. 3 o'clock, Lobster Rock Wharf, Friday. Everybody say yay? Yay! She's both. Okay, does anybody else have anything to say before we close down?
CJLS, I know he's here and recording your voices, but is he gonna help spread the word on the radio tomorrow?
Yes.
That's usually what you do. Yeah.
Don't worry, the people are gonna know about it. Don't worry.
And we want to thank CJLS and the Vanguard for coming today. We appreciate their support. Oh, one second, guys. Gentleman's got something he'd like to say.
I'm just not much of a mic person, but I've been in this business since I've been 17, and I'm 35 now. And this summer, everything's going just about tits up. I've just about lost everything. I got a letter from the bank, they want my house, and I just don't know what to do. I don't want to bum money, and I'm just tired of it.
What am I telling to show up for? Are we gonna do this, or are we gonna do something done? Are we gonna try to get something done, or just talk?
We're gonna try to get, if we have the numbers, that we're comfortable, well, if we have the numbers, then we're gonna refuse to load.